The footage you're seeing is coming straight from the EMEET PIXY. I want to film basically this whole video using the webcam so you can see exactly what it's like. I'm going to walk you through a bunch of different lighting tests. Then I will show you the software and give you a sound test. And just so you're aware, right now I am talking into this XLR mic. This webcam was sent to me so I could make this video. Let's go ahead and do the first test. I've got a couple of lights up here, a blue light over here, purple light over here. Let's turn them all off. All right, now I don't have any lights on at all. The light illuminating my face is from my monitors. I do have 3 monitors, so I guess it's kind of bright, but this is what it looks like in basically a completely dark environment. Now I've got my overhead lights. They're not super bright, but this is kind of what most people would experience when they're filming, just kind of some overhead lights, nothing too special. Now I've got all my lights on, overhead lights and my studio lights. Let me go ahead and turn off my overhead lights. And with my studio lights, I want to turn on one more light. So I have a light bouncing off the wall right now. I'll turn it up gradually just to kind of see what that does. Mostly I want to check what happens to the highlights if I get some really bad clipping or bleeding on the highlights. So far it's looking pretty good. Let me turn this around and shine it directly on my face. Wow, this is bright. So you can see the highlights here. I'm actually quite impressed. This does a good job considering how this is really bright right in my face. I actually like the light bouncing off the wall, so I'm gonna keep it like this. One of the cool things about this webcam is it has 2 cameras. I believe one camera is to help with autofocus. So I got my John Stockton basketball card. We're gonna try how autofocus is. So if I hold it up like this, we're gonna see how fast that is to focus. It is looking quite fast. It's not ever not in focus. That's okay. Let me try this again. This is nuts. Boom. I've got it right up there. Let's see how close can I get. Okay, so it's kind of blurry right about there. This is about 3 inches away from the camera. As I move this is in focus the whole entire time. I cannot, maybe for a second, it's not in focus. That's really cool. Maybe that's just because it's John Stockton. Let's try it with a Rubik's Cube. Does it do the same? Yes. Wow. If I hold this up, look how crystal clear that is. Really cool. All right. So if you wanted to use this web camera to show off a product or something, you're not going to have any problem focusing on whatever product it is you're showing. That's pretty cool. Next test to try is tracking. You can turn on gestures. So if I go like this, it's going to turn on tracking mode. So now if I kind of move to the side, it's going to follow me around. It doesn't look like it's following me too fast, but it's doing a pretty good job. You can see my other camera up there. Let's get that camera out of the way and let's turn off the tracking. Seems to have done a great job recognizing the gestures and tracking me. Not super fast, but it did a good job. Now I'm going to switch over to the software and after that do a quick little microphone test. Let me show you the software. Now EMEET just released the software yesterday. That's a good sign. It means they're updating things. I don't want to go too in depth, but I'll show you kind of the basics. You got standard mode. I can put it in tracking mode, which means it will follow me around if I move, and then privacy mode, it just kind of flips it down. So it's kind of like it's off. If I change this to be in another position, I can go to like say number 3 and I can save this position number 3. Now, if I want to go back to where I was, it goes back to where I was. So you can set a bunch of different presets. Now, the thing to be aware of with this is whatever your zoom levels are, it doesn't save zoom levels. So just be aware of that. And you can do some fine tuning. So let me punch in a bit to get my overhead camera out of the way. There we go. So I can frame myself in this. If I want to, I can close the software and then whatever software I open up the webcam in, it's saved in this position. So that's really nice. So I use OBS to record. So if I close out the software, open OBS, this is what it will look like. You can change the resolution. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll change it to 2K at 30 frames per second. And if you've noticed some flicker going on, that's great because I can change this to 50 Hertz. And there goes the flicker. You can customize a lot of these filters or you can just use some of these presets. I like the default, but if you want to use some of these presets, you're welcome to do that. You can also flip things around depending on the orientation of your webcam. You can change where you want it to focus. You can also turn autofocus off and you can manually focus if you want to do that. And then the auto enter privacy mode basically means if you're not actively using the webcam after 1 minute as it's set now. It'll just kind of flip down so that you know it's off. The last thing I want to show you is the audio modes. So right now I'm talking into this USB mic. Let me switch over the mic to the webcam. So now the audio you are hearing is coming from the webcam. It's probably about 2.5 feet away from me, and we are in live mode. I'm going to go ahead and turn on this razor. So it's on right now. It's not too loud, but this is me talking over it. Let me turn it off. Here's another razor that is quite loud. And so this is on now. And now I am talking over this razor. Let's switch to noise canceling mode. All right, in noise canceling mode, let's do the same test. Let me go ahead and turn this on. Now I'm talking over this. Let me turn it off. Now let me turn this one on. This is on now and I am talking over it. Let me turn this off. So this is noise cancellation mode. And finally, original sound mode. We're on original sound mode. Let's go through the same test. Let me turn this on. This is on now. I'm talking this, turn it off. Now I'm going to turn on this loud one. And this is really loud. Okay, let me turn this off. So there you have all the different audio settings. A nice thing about the USB-C cable is it does have an adapter, so you can either use USB-C to USB-C or the USB-A adapter. I mean, this webcam is cute enough that they designed a plush toy to look like the webcam. Like, that's legit right there. So here's kind of a closer look at how it moves. It does have these threads on the bottom, so if you want to mount it on a tripod, you can do that. It also has this mount, so you can screw it in here and then you can set it on your laptop or anything. And I don't know if you can tell, this is solid metal, so this is kind of hefty. This is not lightweight or plastic or anything. Looks like we've got a few mics on the top, and this is where you plug in USB-C. This is a very new webcam, and I've got to say, probably the thing that impresses me the most is just the incredible autofocus. Completely blows my mind. If I want to show you the best lip balm in the world, boom, Carmex. This is the best lip balm in the world. Whoa, my fingers are dry. I don't want to show you that close, but I can because the autofocus is really good and you can get right up into the camera. That works really well. As far as the image quality goes, I'm just going to let you decide for yourself what you think that looks like. I showed you in different lighting environments. Right now, it is a fairly dark room. I usually keep it pretty dark because the camera I generally film with has a good beefy lens on it. So even in a more dark environment, this is kind of what it would look like. I didn't go in depth in the software. My overall impression with the software is it's okay. I think there are areas where it can improve, and I think probably because this is a new webcam, they're probably working on some improvements. But as it is right now, anything you need to tweak, you can do that. And I'm recording this right now, and I'm recording this in OBS, so I was able to make changes with the software, zoom in where I wanted to, close the software, open OBS, and it saved all that information to the webcam. So even though I'm using a different program, I've got the settings I want. The tracking works well. There doesn't seem to be a way to change the tracking speed or anything like that, but as is, it seems to track me just fine. And as far as the audio goes, you heard it yourself, so you can kind of decide if that works well enough for you or not. For me personally, I've really enjoyed using this webcam, and this is probably a webcam I would really like to use if I ever need to do close-up shots, if I'm showing something in my hand or I need to show the details on something. I think this webcam's incredible for that. Again, this is a fairly new webcam, so I haven't got to try it for very long, but I plan on doing a follow-up video on a few months to see if any of my opinions have changed. But so far, I've been really impressed.